Hello, folks. Thank you for tuning in to the B-Leav-it show. I see you staring down. What's the score? It's all tied. You want more? You know it's true. What's inside of you? Believe it, don't you know? Talk the talk, walk the walk. Believe in the B-Leav-it show. Independence Day, baby, step away. Believe it, it's time to go. B-Leav-it show. And you know we can fly away up in the clouds. I sing out loud, I'm okay. Believe it now. On with the show. Thank you for tuning into the B-Leav-it show, where believe it. If I can get through this day with a big smile on my face and true personal independence, just a baby step away. Well, believe it. So can you. Today is Monday. It is June 29, 2020. I am broadcasting from the south side of Jacksonville. Just a little bit of sexy. And I gotta tell you folks, I am striving for a good day of walking. I already walked quite a bit. I walked for 20 minutes, so I got a nice little sweat going, and I went out in the sun, got a little vitamin D, and I thought I'd check in with you and show you exactly what's happening now. I have gone over the first 5 steps of my 10-step program to stroke recovery. Step number 1, of course, is goals. Very important. Step number 2, to commit those goals to memory. They have to be written down or typed in somewhere so that you can refer to those goals when you need to. Number 3 is to surpass each one of your goals. So you want to set your goals pretty low so that you can pass them and change them into higher goals every day. Do a little more. That's the goal. Number 4 is to have fun. Do something. Tricks, dancing, singing. Just make your day interesting. Have a reward for yourself when you get through with working, whatever it may be. Be creative. Think of nice ways. Number 5 is to memorize something. And I went over that with you a couple of days ago. I memorized several things. And when I was in the hospital, I memorized phone numbers. Who does that? And I'll tell you what, today I can't remember those numbers, but then I could. I had a phone in the hospital room that I used. It wasn't the cell phone. It wasn't a smartphone, so I had to be the smart one. And I remembered all those numbers. It was just like something that I could do, memorize those numbers. To the point where, you called me and you got me at the room, I'd be like, who's this? Oh, what's your number? And then I'd remember your number. Doing so, there's been a couple of people in my life that I can remember their numbers. You know who you are. If I try hard enough, I can probably remember a lot of those numbers. But there was other things that I memorized too, like jokes, music, lyrics, stuff like that. Very important to keep the brain sharp, exercise it, because those nerve endings, those neurons up in your brain are communicating with the rest of your body. So if they're not working right, guess what isn't going to work right? Your muscles, your joints, all that stuff. That's all connected. So the brain is the main center. Everything clicks in the brain. Today is step number 6. We're going to go over your nutrition. Nutrition is very important too. I would suggest eating lots of fruits and vegetables, low-fat foods, chicken, fish. But there are some foods that you can eat that are very advantageous to your brain. They're brain foods, like beets. Beets are very nutritious and good for your brain. Avocado is another one. High in omega fats. Some people will say, oh, avocados aren't very nutritious, but they have an ingredient called omega that most vegetables or fruits do not have. So definitely avocado is one of those. Tomatoes is another one. I highly recommend tomatoes. If you're going to eat some spinach, you have to keep in mind that some of you are needing to keep your blood thin. So spinach or any kind of green will thicken your blood. So if you have a blood thinner, it's okay to eat some of these, but I would consult with a doctor before you eat any kind of greens. Those have vitamin K, they thicken your blood. So with that, and also herbs, turmeric, rosemary, there's one other, turmeric, rosemary, very, very good for your brain. All herbs are good, basil, oregano, the parsley, cilantro, turmeric and rosemary, those two, when I looked up brain foods, they were on that list significantly. Cinnamon is another one that's on the list. Definitely. Ginseng is very good to use. Ginger, excellent to use. Broccoli is another great vegetable, good for your brain. Dark chocolate is very advantageous. Who would have thought, dark chocolate. Also, another food item that I would recommend for your brain is coffee. Coffee is very good. And red wine is very good for the brain. What else? I would go with any kind of vegetable or fruit is good for you. Oranges, blueberries. I forgot about blueberries. Outstanding for the brain. Pomegranates are another fruit that's very nutritious for the brain. Carrots, very nutritious for the brain. All fruits are good for you. Peaches, plums, grapes. I'm just naming foods that are specifically favorable to the neurological disorders that occur in the brain. So, blueberries definitely on that list. Pomegranates, avocados. Bananas, definitely, for sure. Bell peppers are not on the list, but that's a very good, tasty, high water content vegetable that I would recommend using for your dinners and lunches. Excellent. Tuna fish, salmon, Salmon is on the list for advantageous foods. Atlantic cod. Atlantic cod. Very nutritious for the brain. It's good stuff too. Chicken, I would suggest you stay away from pork if you can. I mean, I love bacon, but it doesn't love me. It's not good for you. Please try to stay away from pork. Chicken is good. Beef in small amounts, excellent. Nothing better than having a nice steak. Baked potato, I would stay away from potatoes. You know, sweet potatoes are better. If you have to have a potato, go with sweet potato. Much better. And rice, wild rice, it's a lot better for you than just regular white rice. Just again, small amounts of that. Folks, I hope that list will help you out. If I thought about it, looked it up, I could probably find some other stuff, but that's a good way to start. We'll go over them again on another show. I'll go over them for you. And folks, I'm going to go ahead and clock out, and I'm also going to read a Bible verse that I was given. I just opened the Bible and turned to this page, and this jumped out at me. So I thought I would read it to you. This is John 1, 1 John chapter 1, chapter 1, verse 5. I'm going to read up to verse 8. This is the message we have heard from him and declared to you. God is the light. In him there is no darkness at all. If we claim to have fellowship with him, yet walk in the darkness, we lie and do not live by the truth. But if we walk in the light as he is in the light, we have fellowship with one another, and the blood of Jesus, his Son, purifies us from all sin. That is beautiful. And it has on the top, my mother wrote darkness and light. And on the side of that, she wrote sin. So that is really good stuff. With that said, folks, I hope that you like this video. If you do, please, turn that thumb blue for me. Share this video. Subscribe to my show. I sure would like to send you my future shows, and I hope that I've benefited you in some way. And if I have just reached one person out there and made a positive influence on their life, well, guess what? I have done my job. And with that said, believe it. If I can get to this day with a big smile on my face and true personal independence, just a baby step away, well, believe it, so can you. Folks, thank you for tuning into the show today. I will talk with you next time.